honest to God, I mean, Malik Willis as to be really good, but we'll see. We're going to talk about all of that stuff today. We're going to get into that. So here is a consensus. He'll play for NIL money. I don't know what kind of money Will Anderson gets for the NIL. We know that Bryce Young is going to probably get a couple of million. Does Will Anderson get anything near that? I doubt it. Being a outside linebacker / edge rush guy, he's the best player in America. He's not getting that quarterback money, I don't think. So he'll play this year for the NIL money and then get huge money in 2023. So as always, kind of makes you wonder. Some year in college and say, I'm good. I mean, basically, Nick Bosa did exactly that after the injury that would have taken him out for maybe 2 or 3 games, 3 games into his junior year. He was 3 games into his junior year. He got like a groin injury, and he's like, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. He never returned to Ohio State, never returned to the Buckeyes, and was still the second player taken in the 2019 draft after playing just 3 games as a junior, and he was the defensive rookie of the year. If Will Anderson gets nicked 2 or 3 games into the season, and they tell him he's going to be out for 2 or 3 games, and Alabama, as always, is a national title contender, I think Will Anderson will bag the rest. I'm good. If you know what you want to get into, you can call the show, 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. You can text the show. 732-9TA show. 732-982-7469. It is a great way to communicate with us. You can see the show preview there, even though there's an error in there because we had a late change. There's all kinds of great info at our Facebook page. You can watch it there, too. There are show clips there as well. Just go to 977ESPN.com for links to all of that. And while you are at it, get the app. There you can find a link to Zone 2, 3, and 4 as well. Our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Brent Sobolewski from the Bleacher Report puts a bow on the draft for us. Sobo has 4 quarterbacks, by the way, going in the first round next season in his mock draft for 2023, which he did like right after the first round or right after the draft. I'm not even sure. Where does he have Bryce Young going? We'll talk to him about that. And the NFL has finished its independent investigation into the Hugh Jackson claims against the Browns. Now, to recap, Hugh Jackson was 3-36-1 in his tenure as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He was retained after an 0-16 season. The year he was canned, the team was 2-5-1 when they fired him, and then went 5-3 with the same roster and Greg Williams as their interim head coach. Freddie Kitchens took over the next season. Freddie's white. Freddie went 6-10 and got fired after 1 season. Yet Hugh Jackson claimed that his firing was based on racism and that the team offered incentives for losing. He said this in the wake of the Brian Flores claims about the Dolphins and tweeted, quote, "I stand with Brian Flores. I can back up every word I'm saying." He recanted later every word that he said. But the NFL still hired a former U.S. attorney and SEC chair, Mary Jo White, team of lawyers for 16 and 17 seasons. From the NFL, quote, "The investigation found no evidence to suggest that the Browns' 4-year plan or the club's ownership or football personnel sought to lose or incentivize losing and made no decisions deliberately to weaken the team to secure a more favorable draft position," close quote. The NFL said that the Browns fully cooperated in the comprehensive review, including interviews with Jimmy Haslam, along with current and former members of the organization. However, the NFL said Jackson, who made this claim in the first place, Hugh Jackson ultimately did after initially agreeing. So basically, he's a bold-faced liar. At the top of the 11, Teresa Walker is back from the AP in Tennessee, number one baseball team. The Denver to begin their first-round series against the Avalanche. And the Titans drafted Malik Willis, who, as I said, is a third-rounder, I think has great value as a third-rounder. So there's all of that. Over there in that little glass booth, playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax and manning the phones and keeping us on the air and filling in for the big dog yesterday when I was off at the UAH graduation as intern John graduated. Is he still intern John? I don't think so. Graduated from UAH with his communications arts degree, made his family very, very proud. Also making us proud is DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Totally confused here, Grizz. I don't know. I don't know if
Here,
that's a long
sometimes
day.
you kind of. It's been an off morning for me. So
Don't tell me it still feels like Monday for you.
When the intern actually shows up and when you got someone else helping you, you don't make mistakes like that. So you're doing 8 other jobs. You
to deal with 2 Mondays, but you and Smokey Mike filling in for me yesterday. That was good, and you guys got your take on it. You must listen. I think you got the best quarterback in this friggin' draft, and you got him in the 3rd round. And Desmond Ridder, am I lying too that he fits in perfect? Who looks like Marcus Mariota is not quite as accurate as Mariota and Tannehill, but they can make him more accurate. You must feel decent about you got the best receiver in the draft and the best quarterback in the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, on paper on paper it all looks great. It looks and you've seen what they've been able to do. We talked about it yesterday with Smokey Mike and I on the Drake London pickup, and I said it yesterday, is this guy is a yards after catch monster. The man had 22 missed tackles in 8 games. And if you go look at the receivers that were drafted after him, Treylon Burks had, I think, 13. Or no, I'm sorry. Garrett Wilson had 19 in 13 games. I think it was also Treylon Burks had 15 in 13 games. And then I believe it was Chris Olave it may have been Garrett Wilson that had only had 1 in like 70-something catches or something like that. But when you look at this guy, he's a Mike Evans, Vincent Jackson, a big physical receiver down the field. They did a great job, basically. And I said it yesterday, if you look at it, Calvin Ridley's going to be 30 years old by the time he's back on the field. This was a replacement for Calvin Ridley. This is a extra receiver. This is another weapon for whoever the quarterback's going to be for the future. And then, like you said, with Desmond Ridder, he could be the quarterback of the future. I like his mentality. I like what he did at Cincinnati, and give Cincinnati a lot of credit for 9 draft picks in the NFL draft, and him being one of them. And I just like the way he carries himself. Like you said, I like the comparisons of Marcus Mariota. I've also seen he's been compared to Russell Wilson as well. So if you can get a bigger Russell Wilson, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about Drake London on Friday, but I mean, this one here over the weekend I thought was a really good pick. I mean, I thought that was something that was really, really good.
It was a great, and another pickup we talked about yesterday too was Aaron Ebiketie from Penn State, who had a better pass rush win rate than Micah Parsons. And I get it, he's older, he's going to be 24, but you need somebody after which today, I just heard right before the show, Grady Jarrett got signed to a 3-year, $51 million extension. So you need some help on that defensive line when you're paying 2 guys that didn't even play the entire year last year.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Also good stuff, of course, was last night with the Mets beating the Braves in New York.
Yes.
How about the
Braves
series
beating the Mets? I think you said the Mets
beating the Mets. How about the 2 series going on in the NL East and in the AL East? I mean, these are huge games back. Last I knew, these games count, all the way through
They have like almost the same record as last year. So I think actually through 24 games they were 12-12. And if you look at it, they've only won 1 series this entire season so far. So if you look at it, they won like three series last season. So if anyone's like overreacting, just relax. The Braves are going to be fine. But to be able to take one from the series from the hot New York Mets is something. And so you can definitely tell.
Now I got two more chances to get another one.
Yeah,
right?
and what's really cool, it was a really cool stat I saw earlier today. Austin Riley has like 5 home runs in the last 35 games. And the man is literally turning into Chipper Jones Jr. I mean, the man has 9 home runs and 73 at-bats at Citi Field.
That's crazy.
The guy is going to rake at Citi Field, and I just love it that, hopefully the Mets will have another decade and a half of dominance in Citi Field. They'll have a Braves third baseman just absolutely making it miserable for them.
So we'll have them. We'll have that game coming up tonight. We'll have Game 2 of the doubleheader. So they do have a doubleheader today. Game 1 will be at 2:10 Central Time, and then Game 2 follows that one. So we'll have the second game of the doubleheader tonight. I don't know. I got to be totally honest with you, Gritz. I don't know whether we have the first game of the doubleheader on Zone 2 or not. I mean,
so we may actually have it on the air.
I don't know. Maybe the powers that be made that decision. I am not the power to beat it. All I do is recommend. That's why you got to get our app. That's why you got to get the app, because you can have multiple. This way, you get multiple channels to listen to all of it. Is out there. By the way, speaking of that game last night, how about the Chris Bassett, Chad Fairchild exchange? I would tell you what, I'm going to hold that thought. Chris Bassett and Chad Fairchild. Chris Bassett, the pitcher for the Mets, and Chad Fairchild, the umpire on the game last.
Really, and the Bears. That's the thing about the Bears. The Velas Jr. or Jones from
under 5.5. NBA in the East semifinals. The Bucks plus 4.5 at the.